Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Y'all know Walmart. It's a place for late night snack runs, last minute birthday gifts, and sometimes just a place to wander the aisles. But for some people, a simple trip to Walmart turned into something straight out of a horror movie. These aren't fictional tales, they're real experiences from people who thought they were just popping in for some groceries. So, lock your doors, turn down the lights, and get ready to hear 3 of the scariest true Walmart horror stories ever told. You might think twice before your next late-night shopping trip. Our first story comes from a woman named Chloe, who used to work the overnight shift stocking shelves. The store was her second home, a familiar, brightly lit space. But one night, that familiarity was shattered. It was around 3 a.m., the quietest part of the shift. Chloe was in the pet food aisle, zoned out, just focused on getting the bags of kibble onto the shelves. That's when she heard a faint whistling. She peeked down the main aisle, but saw no one. Figuring it was just a coworker, she went back to her task. But the whistling started again, closer this time. It seemed to be coming from the next aisle over, the one with cleaning supplies. "Hello," she called out, her voice a little shaky. The whistling stopped instantly. Total silence. Her heart was pounding. She slowly pushed her cart to the end of the aisle and peered around the corner. Nothing. The cleaning aisle was completely empty. Chloe tried to laugh it off, thinking her mind was playing tricks on her. She decided to take her break, heading towards the employee lounge at the back of the store. As she walked past the toy aisle, she froze. A single small red rubber ball rolled out from under a shelf and stopped right at her feet. Then, from the darkness at the far end of the aisle, she heard the whistling again, the same cheerful tune. But this time it was accompanied by the quiet giggle of a child. There were no children in the store. There couldn't be. Chloe didn't even bother calling out this time. She turned and ran, not stopping until she found her manager. They searched the entire toy aisle, but there was no one there and no sign of the red ball. To this day, she swears she heard a child's ghost playing in the aisles of that Walmart. This next story is a chilling reminder to always be aware of your surroundings, even in a place as public as Walmart. It comes from a Reddit user who we'll call Mark. Mark was doing his weekly grocery shopping on a busy Saturday afternoon. The store was packed and the checkout lines were long. He was waiting in line, mindlessly scrolling through his phone, when he noticed the man standing behind him. He was a bit too close for comfort, but Mark just chalked it up to the crowded store. He shifted forward a bit to create some space. A minute later, he felt the man's shopping cart bump into the back of his legs. "Sorry," the man muttered. Mark glanced back and just nodded. But then it happened again and again. It was getting annoying, but Mark didn't want to cause a scene. He just kept inching forward. Finally, it was his turn at the register. As the cashier was scanning his items, Mark felt a strange sensation, like a light scratch on his lower back. He winced, thinking maybe a sharp corner of the man's cart had scraped him. He paid for his groceries and left thinking nothing more of it. It was until he got home and started putting his groceries away that he felt a stinging pain in his back. He went to the bathroom and lifted his shirt to look in the mirror. He was horrified by what he saw. There, on his lower back, was a single, thin, perfectly straight cut, about 4 inches long. It was shallow, but it was bleeding. He immediately realized what had happened. The man in line wasn't just being clumsy with his cart. He had been intentionally bumping into him, using the crowded line as a cover to cut him with something sharp, probably a small knife or a razor blade. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. Why would someone do that? What was the motive? He never found out. He reported it to the store, but with the crowds and the lack of a clear description, the man was never found. It was a terrifying random act that left Mark with a scar and a permanent sense of unease in public places. He learned a hard lesson that day. Evil can be standing right behind you in the checkout line, and you'd never even know it. Our final story is perhaps the most disturbing, as it involves a near miss that could have ended in tragedy. A young mother, let's call her Jessica, was shopping with her 2-year-old son Leo. She needed to grab something from a high shelf in the pharmacy section, and for just a split second, she turned her back on the cart to reach for the item. It couldn't have been more than 5 seconds. When she turned back around, the cart was empty. Leo was gone. Panic instantly seized her. Her heart leaped into her throat. "Leo," she screamed, her voice cracking. She frantically looked up and down the aisle. It was empty except for an elderly couple at the far end who looked at her with concern. She started running, her mind racing. "Leo, someone took my son." She shrieked, her shouts echoing through the store. Shoppers stopped and stared. An employee rushed over. "My son, he was just here. He's gone," she cried, pointing at the empty cart. The employee immediately got on the walkie-talkie, calling for a code atom, the protocol for a missing child in a retail store. They locked the doors.
No one in, no one out.
Jessica was sobbing, running through the aisles, screaming his name. Other shoppers and employees joined the search. It felt like an eternity, but it was probably only 2 or 3 minutes before another employee's voice came over the radio. "I have him men's restroom. He's safe." Jessica sprinted towards the front of the store, her legs feeling like jelly. There, near the restrooms, an employee was holding a crying Leo. But what the employee said next chilled Jessica to the bone. He had noticed a woman acting suspiciously, trying to hurry a crying toddler into the men's restroom. The child was trying to pull away, and it just didn't feel right. He confronted her, asking whose child it was. The woman, without a word, shoved Leo towards him and bolted out of a nearby fire exit, setting off an alarm. When security reviewed the tapes, they saw it all. The woman had been following Jessica. The moment Jessica turned her back, the woman swiftly and silently lifted Leo from the cart and walked away. The most terrifying part, in the footage, they could see she had a pair of scissors and was already starting to snip at Leo's hair, likely to change his appearance quickly. Jessica held her son tighter than she ever had before, shaking uncontrollably. She was 5 seconds away from a lifetime of horror. It's a terrifying reminder for all parents. Danger can be silent, swift, and it only takes a split second. And there you have it, 3 true stories that prove that sometimes the most ordinary places can hold the darkest secrets. From ghostly children in the toy aisle to sinister strangers in the checkout line, these experiences remind us to always stay alert. You just never know what's lurking in the aisles of your friendly neighborhood Walmart. What did you think of these stories? Have you ever had a creepy experience while shopping? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more scary true stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you daren't miss what's coming next. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.